had a tape deck shipped in. Complaint on it was transport issues. Well, there are a couple of them. As you're going to see as soon as I get it apart, it needs belts. And there's other things wrong with this, and it's a low-end deck. These things never sounded great when they were new, and 40 years on, it's not going to sound any better. But let's check it out. This time I have a TCW32 dual cassette deck, Sony, and I understand this one has a transport problem. That's all I've been told, is it has a transport problem. So let's pop the top off it and take a look inside. See if we can see anything obvious. Okay. What do we got on here? We have belt problem. We have a missing, well, the belt has come off. We have belts that have all turned to mush is what we have. So this unit needs belts. Big time it needs belts. That's the fault on this one. At least one of the faults. There may be more. I don't know if I'm going to have belts for this unit or not. But it needs 4 belts. Because these have all turned to mush. At least these machines, though, you can change the belts without having to take them apart. They come off just like that. I mean, they're really simple. You slip the belts in place, slip them around the pulley, and then around the pulley on here, and then do the other belt over here. So they're pretty simple to change the belts on. But we're going to have to find, I think they're all the same size, or are they 2 different sizes? There might be 2 of one size and 2 of another. I think they're all the same size, though, these things, if I'm not mistaken. Or 2 of them are a little bit bigger than others, but I'm going to have to see if I can find some belts for it. I do have 4 belts here. Let's get these old ones out of the way so I don't get them mixed up, and we'll just try slipping these belts on and see if they will work. And again, doing this without pulling the transport apart is always the best, if we can. Oops, don't want to lose the belts down there. I think the first one to go on is the one on this side. Gotta slip that one on first, if we can. It's gonna be fun. Get this cord out of the way so it's not gonna be catching on things. And we'll try to slip this thing in here. Get it around this pulley. Okay, I got that belt onto the pulley there. The back shaft of the pulley. And now, just gonna wind it around there. Okay, that belt is on there. I'll put a second one on that goes around here. This might be a little bit too big. Nope, maybe it'll fit. Okay, try that one there, and then this other deck over here. There we go. Alright, that's the second belt on. You can see both of the captions are turning now. Now just one more belt for the reel. No, this is too big or too small. That might be a little bit on the big side. I may have to find a little smaller one than that. That appears to be a little bit loose. So we'll just go to the next size down. See, I've got a few of them here. This one might be a better size belt. I'll have to give that a try. This might have worked out well. I just happen to have a bunch of belts that look like they fit. So let's give it a try and see how it sounds. I took that out just because it was in the way. See what's I can see what's happening on this. Get the light in place. That gear right down here, right there where I'm touching with the screwdriver. There's a crack in that gear. Very common problem on these machines. We'll see it if I rotate it. This is supposed to be meshing with this gear here. It's not. It's slipped up on the shaft. You can see it's loose. That's supposed to be in like that. This is what controls the mechanism. It flips this gear back and forth to control the cam. This motor here, what it does, all this does is trigger the cam to move up and down and select the mode. And that little gear, the plastic cracks on that little gear. And then when that happens, it can't control the mechanism. And well, I don't know that we can even get those gears anymore. I haven't seen them for many years, but we can try to glue it in place onto the end of the shaft here so that it won't slip. Just as much work to do that as to change it, but the thing is finding a replacement gear. And I know someone's going to pipe in and say 3D printing it. Yeah, well, the problem is by the time you find someone who can 3D print the gear, if they've even got it, by the time you get a gear printed and shipped, or up to $20 or $30 or $40 for the part, plus the labor to put it in, makes the machine a throwaway. That's the problem. When the gears were available from Sony, they were only $1 a piece. Then it was a repair you could do. But today, when you get stuff like this, it just becomes unrepairable. I'm going to pull the chassis and see if I can glue that gear back, glue it onto the end of the shaft. They put a nice little cut in that circuit board just for that purpose of getting a screwdriver in there. Now if I open these up, so we'll be able to slide this mechanism out. I'll just unplug the interconnect. And this should lift out. Oh, you gotta pull the fronts off here. Will it lift out, or won't it lift out? It might not. I think I gotta lift the whole front off this thing and slide these out. I don't think I have enough clearance to lift it out this way on this one, unfortunately. I might be able to get to the gear though that I need to get to glue it in place. All I basically need to do is just put a little bit of epoxy onto the shaft here, so that this gear can't walk out. Mix up a little bit of epoxy. I'm going to put just a little dab of epoxy right there. This is the gear here that's got the crack in it. Light in position so you can see it. This little gear here, there's a little crack right on the front of this gear. You can see it right, I can turn it a bit. Come on, turn, you bugger. Right there. Okay, can you see the crack? Right where my screwdriver is touching. So this plastic is shrunk and it's cracked and it's slipping. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of glue right on this, just to glue this to this shaft so that it will turn. Then it can flip this gear back and forth. All this does is this just activates the cams. It just flips this cam down, this cam or that cam, depending on what way it turns. If it turns this way, it flips down this cam. If it turns that way, it flips the other one down. That's all it does. It just turns, it just runs for a second, just long enough to push one of these cams down. It just does that to trigger it. And same with on this side. It just does that. That's all it does. You get that little piece there, cause all kinds of headaches. So I stuck some epoxy over the end of that gear to hold it in place and stop it from slipping forward. Hold it in its correct position. And we'll let this set up for a while, and then we'll reassemble it and test it out. Alright, I think this will probably hold it. It's set up pretty good here now. Now time to just reinstall the mechanism. Reseat the screws and then give it a test. And that should do it. I think we'll find out pretty quick once I get the screws back in. Put the screws in the bottom. Okay, units back together. Let's just check out the tape play now. That side works. How about this other side? Okay, let's take a listen to the speed. Looks pretty close. The B deck is sounding good. The A deck, though, not so good. A little bit of flutter. Yeah, the A deck sounds pretty sad. Now that could be a number of different things, but it's, I don't think, going to be the belt that's causing that, because both the belts I put in were identical. They came out of the same package, were purchased at the same time, and they're the right belts for this machine. It's not being dragged by the take-up spool either, because I can take this belt off and the flutter remains. It could be, oh, there's a couple things it could be. It could be a bent capstan, could be a bad pinch roller. Let's take a look at the flywheel. Is it true? Looks like it's, I don't know. Can we tell? That flywheel looks to be not true. See? You can see the wobble on the flywheel. Now, they're both driven from the same motor by two separate belts, but the B side certainly sounds a lot better. This is about as good as I'm going to get this. And you can see the B-side sounds a lot better. So I think this is about as good as this one's going to get. I mean, it's not a high-end tape deck, right? A TCW31. Came in with melted belts and a cracked gear. So I've had this one playing for a few minutes here. The B-side's okay. The A-side, well. Leaves something to be desired. Yeah, the A side has a fair bit of flutter. It's just it's worn out. It's probably it is probably the capstan shaft itself, the flywheel. But it wasn't working when it came in. It's working now. 4 new belts, and to fix that little gear is what I had to do. So that's it. We'll close this one up and get it ready to ship back. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.